I don't think anyone's waiting for us.
What? How dare they?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Retro Fandango, episode number 187. I'm Buried on Mars, aka Kevin, and I'm here with my pal Richard, also known
Hello.
as Ramvox the.
Yep.
Forgot to put in the outline. I finished watching the He-Man.
Oh.
Yeah,
So we can have a big nerd discussion.
yeah. But first, let's do the house cleaning. Cartridge Club is playing Mirror's Edge this month. My beloved Grand Theft Auto San Andreas did not make it, did not win to be game of the month this month. So Mirror's Edge beat it out. It's a good game. It's good.
I've never played it. It's one of those games I keep meaning to get to.
I mean, it's first-person platforming.
Yeah.
So it's not my favorite style of game, but it was still, in spite of that, it was still really good. And you can play through the entire game without shooting anyone, without shooting a gun.
That's one of the achievements, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's how I played it back on the 360 back in the day. It was good. You know, it was a change from the other first-person shooters, right? It was like a first-person jumper kind of.
Well, there's not a whole lot of games in that category, right?
No.
It's at least unique in that regard.
Yeah.
Were they supposed to make a sequel?
There is a sequel.
Never did? There is.
It did. Yeah, it did come out, but I don't think it got the acclaim like the first one did.
Yeah, people were just ready for like one outing, like, all right, it's something new and interesting, but let's not go crazy.
Yeah.
We don't need this all the time.
Well, I think it was one of those things too where they kind of missed their window. Like instead of coming out with a sequel within like a year or two, they waited like 10 years, before they came up with the second one, and that always kind of takes out the momentum, And then
like Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, like they waited, because Bill Murray. Yeah, but it was 5 years. So, well, and plus the first one had a female protagonist, which was, not even like, it wasn't a big deal in the game. It was just like that's what the game was, and there was this female protagonist. And then when the second one came out, it was a big deal. Like, oh, the female protagonist, you got to go and get this game because it's got a female protagonist. And they just kind of, I don't know, like that was the vibe I got. Is that they kind of threw it in people's faces a little too much. I could be off. I don't know, but whatever.
A little forceful advertising.
RF Gen is playing Phantom Dust, which I think I have here. Come to think of it. Or maybe it's in my to sell pile. Oh, no, here it is.
Oh, great advertisement for them.
I've never played it. That's why it's in this game, Phantom Dust.
Phantom Dust. I don't know this one.
So it's kind of like I think it's a card game, one of those deck building games, but it's like way ahead of its time, right? It came out on the original Xbox, obviously. Where now those games are kind of a dime a dozen, I think, on the PC anyways. There's a bunch of them. Every time like a new RPG and you click on it and it's a stupid deck card building game. But people really like those, so whatever. Beat the Bandy is on hiatus this month. I guess the Tetris was a little too much for everybody last month. What is this? Is it a book club now? Are they all reading a book?
The only tweet I saw was that he's taking the month off because he wants to catch up on his reading.
Oh,
all of his Conan books, probably.
Good for him. What was that guy's name? Damn it! There's
Edgar Rice Burroughs?
No.
Duke?
Terrence Dix or something like that. I don't know. There was a guy who had a funny name on. He was showing off some of his books. It was like Terrence Dix or something. We were having fun with that name. Okay, that's it. What do you want to talk about first?
I don't know. Well, give me your He-Man spiel before we forget about it.
So I watched the whole series. If you tuned in the last episode, I had only watched the pilot. Richard had saw the whole thing, and I after the pilot, I couldn't understand why everyone was calling it the Tila show. After watching the whole series, I kind of understand why people were calling it the Tila show, because it definitely steers in her direction. Even though He-Man does show up often enough, but the show is called Masters of the Universe. It isn't He-Man, and it was about all of his friends and stuff. And I don't know, I thought the whole thing was pretty good. It was okay, a lot of it made sense, like how would Tila feel if us getting in the spoilers here, if she found out that Prince Adam was He-Man, and you'd think about it, everyone in that inner circle, Man-at-Arms, Orko, the Sorceress, they all knew the secret except for Tila. She was like the odd man out. And that kind of, if you think about it, doesn't really make sense why she wouldn't be in on the secret, because they were all part of that inner circle. So, but apparently there's some reason why they didn't tell her to protect her from her true calling or something like that. So I guess we'll find out if they do more episodes. We'll find out later.
Well, that's not even the end of it, because if you go back to the original cartoon, she didn't know that she is actually the daughter of the sorceress.
That's I didn't know that. I forgot. Was that revealed in the original cartoon?
Yeah, and that's what Man-at-Arms was probably about to tell her. And he's like, oh, there's something else I got to tell you. So she's just going to throw another hissy fit and get angry that she's, another thing you didn't tell me.
Right, because Man-at-Arms isn't her. He's a surrogate father. He isn't her biological father.
He just took her in.
Yeah. Right. I see.
Well, okay. I just see it as the whole show as being safe. I think there's the whole... I don't know if I want to... You didn't get into spoilers there, so I guess I shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead. Get into spoilers. Why not? I mean, if you haven't watched the show, it's been out for a while. Pause the podcast. Go watch it. There's only 5 episodes, or like 22 minutes.
True enough. I just see the marketing behind it. I see the decision. Maybe Kevin Smith or whoever wanted to go in this direction. So now they're kind of waiting for the fan reaction. Can we do the show without He-Man? What's going to happen? Are we going to keep him away? Are we going to focus on Tila? Do we have to bring him back? Because, the fans are upset that they're not getting enough He-Man in their He-Man cartoon. They also planted a little seed there, like, if you want He-Man, we just put up the whole backstory to the original He-Man so we can bring him and start a whole show about that with a different castle and a different cast. And it just feels like they planted a whole lot of stuff. They're leaving everything vague and ambiguous, just like down to Tila's sexuality in a bit there. There's like a little hint of like, well, do you like this? Do you want to see more of this? And that feels like everything that's been done with season 1 is just wait and see what people say, and then we'll go in that direction.
Yes, we're talking about He-Man. What other Kevin Smith thing out there is there worth talking about? Really?
Yoga hosers.
Bill watched it.
All I know is the name, and it just sounds so stupid.
I haven't seen. He was supposed to start a whole new series, like a whole new, like how like Clerks and Dogma and Chasing Amy, they all existed in like some same universe kind of thing, right? Yeah, Kevin Smith made He-Man, the new He-Man.
Oh, come on, Mike. The new hotness.
Yeah, it's called Masters of the Universe. Go check it out on Netflix. We're getting spoilery here though, so.
None of the kids are talking about it, just us old people.
So go away now, Mike. Get out of here, because we're going to. I'm going to get in a spoiler right now. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Well, I watched a little bit of the after show because there was like an He-Man after show.
Oh, okay.
And it was right on Netflix. It came up like right after I finished the series. It's like, here's the after show. And the gist I got from from Kevin Smith was that he was just really excited about the fact that he killed off Prince Adam twice in the show. So I don't know how much of it is marketing, more or less like he really gets into like, oh, I'm gonna shock you kind of thing. He did the same with the Daredevil series back in the day, where he killed off Karen, and a horrible death too, right? Gave her AIDS, and then some killer comes in and tries to kill her, but then she ends up dying from AIDS, and oh man, it was just it was pretty bad. So I mean, I think that was more of it. I think there was a little more.
Yeah. Bet you didn't see that coming.
A little bit, yeah.
I shocked you there. Look at me.
Yeah, well, I mean, the second time he killed Prince Adam, I thought it was a little bit shocking, like just to see Skeletor actually stabbing Prince Adam was.
I kind of saw it coming. Everyone was getting a little too friendly right at the end. It started turning back into the classic cheese, people getting along, and then like, oh, that's the best time.
Look at this. Mike Ladano hates He-Man. I make fun of my friend Jason for clunging. Well, see, Mike's a little older, so it was a little, you got to be in that age bracket, I think. Like I was, 6 when He-Man came on, so
right.
You got to be in that. You got to be in that window.
I find it very difficult to hate anything. If I don't care for it, I don't care for it. I don't hate it.
I don't know about that. There's some child actors out there that did some stellar jobs that got some bad vibes off of Mr. Vox. Got some things. Anyways,
but I don't go out of my way to berate them unless it comes up in conversation.
But overall, I thought that was a good concept for the series. I thought that was cool. Like Tila would be the odd man out. Why is she the odd man out? And to explore that, and then get into a little more depth with the lore of Castle Grayskull and that, because Castle Grayskull was like just the keeper of this power, but they never really explained anything in that. So I don't know. I thought it was okay.
They just said enough to sell some toys back in the day. Now people want to look into it a little more. Well, what is this?
Well,
why is Tila left out?
I mean, they got to go somewhere with it, right? Oh, thank you.
No,
thank you, Deke. I when it gets hot, like when it gets really warm, I enjoy wearing these kind of shirts. It's got nothing to do with style or whatever. I just find t-shirts a little warm, and these are a little cooler. That's it.
It's that old man style.
I got some old man pickups too. I got some old man stuff. Maybe you should show them.
Creams and ointments.
Not that old, but middle aged pickups. We'll get into those a little bit later. Okay. I want to finish talking about He-Man, because nothing says middle aged like He-Man.
One little detail I did like, that I don't believe they got into much in the original cartoon, is the splitting of the power sword.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing with the action figures.
Yeah.
But I don't remember them ever doing that in the cartoon.
Well, they even mentioned that at the beginning of the in that pilot episode. He's like, Skeletor says to He-Man, "You're always carrying that sword around, but you never use it for its purpose." And then that's when he stabs the thing, because that's, I mean, with the toys, that's what it was supposed to. If you put the two pieces of the sword together, that's what fit inside a Castle Grayskull's drawbridge, and that was supposed to be the key to unlock the drawbridge. Even though you could use any little piece of anything to unlock it, but
there seemed to be a lot of little nods to the action figures. Like He-Man's got that thing on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
That, as far as I know, he only had like.
Like a small,
in the original cartoon, like a little bracelet,
right.
But in the figure had this gauntlet thing.
Yeah. I did find some of the writing was a little bit like kind of like you could tell Kevin Smith punched up some of the scripts. Like what was it? It was some like Tila tells Man-at-Arms to go protect the sorceress, and then he comes and bails her out of some situation, whatever. She's like, "I thought I told you to go protect the sorceress," and his response was, "I thought I told you I loved you." which is just so. That's some Kevin Smith cheese right there. Look at all these people. Oh my God.
Let's start talking about He-Man. Look at that.
Rocket Sauce says, sorry, I'll have to listen later. Currently at the State Fair.
Wow.
But he loves us. There must be some alcohol happening at that State Fair. Mike likes my shirt as well. Well, there you go. I'll grab my trucker cap to make it complete later. And Dean is here. By the way, speaking of Dean, Dean left us a message here over in Discord. Let's see if I can pull this off here. Let's get to our... Can I do this? Oh, let's do this. There we go. We've got some comments over here in Discord. Look at this. Look how professional I'm getting here. So Kyle says he caught up on the latest shows. Says they're good times. It's been a couple episodes since you and I bashed the prequels. So he knew that was overdue. We can get into it again. And bashing the prequels, it's like it's pretty easy to do. He said he likes my recommendations for 007 movies. And hopefully Vox will watch some more of those.
I was supposed to watch those.
Got to sample at least one from every actor. The 2 Dalton movies he feels are overlooked. I don't agree too much there. But got to do Goldeneye. Absolutely. Great 90s action romps. And Diamonds Are Forever is probably his favorite Connery one. Diamonds Are Forever is pretty good. It's got an excellent opening to it. I can't get into it without getting too spoilery. So one of the few spoilery moments from those early Connery Bond films. But yeah, it's good stuff. He also likes that Steam Deck, that new handheld Steam device. He does want one. Mm-hmm. Might see if there's a slim model in the future. I don't know. It seems like it's one of those things I think where Valve is just going to put it out and then just kind of forget about it. And it can't help but to feel if you want one, get the attachment to hook up a keyboard and monitor. Probably should just get a small laptop. Kind of agree with that. Oh, here's the big news right here. Dean had lunch with Paul, Cartridge Canuck, today, and he mentioned that he's been tuning into a few episodes and he's glad to see you guys are still going strong.
Mm-hmm. I saw that picture.
That's pretty cool. Paul still listens to us once in a while when he feels like it. That was good. Good to hear from Paul. And then Kyle again.
Oh my goodness.
He says, Miss Cartridge Canuck. And I said, that's Mr. Cartridge Canuck to you. See? See? There you go. Always enjoy the hangouts on the couple. Got to be on and listening back to the rest. Someone's got to get them going again. I know, what's his name? Fitnat took over those hangouts for a while. Mm-hmm. But I don't know where. I think they moved to Discord for a bit, and I don't know what happened to them hangouts.
I'd be down for that now because I am officially on summer vacation for my morning job. So I got
there you go. Coming. There you go, guys. If you want a Vox appearance on the hangouts, get it going.
Although my kids are still on summer vacation, so during the overlap of their vacation and my vacation, I don't really have the time, but I do have some vacation time once they go back to school, and that's the best time. September.
Cool. All right.
So you did manage to put together a list of Spielberg movies?
Oh yeah, sure. We can talk about that. Why not? So yeah, on last week's LeBrain train, I was on it, and I thought I might only have a top 9 Spielberg list instead of a top 11, but I did manage to do a top 11. And Sarah did one as well. So would you like to hear my top 11? You can go over to LeBrain Train and watch the whole list. But look at this. This is a reason to revive the Hangouts. You got Dean on the case now. There you go.
Hey, if anybody could put it together, it's Dean.
Yeah, for sure.
See how I just sidestep responsibility?
That's right.
Anyone else wants to put that together?
So my top 11 Steven Spielberg movies. Number 11, Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom did make the list. What?
They got thoughts already.
What?
I just rewatched Temple of Doom like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe why people pretend to bash that movie as if it's not up to par with the others.
Oh, I see. It's too low for you.
It's like the fact that you say, "Oh yeah, it made the list." Like, are there really 10 films better? I don't know.
Absolutely. Yep. I do want to watch the Indiana Jones films again, because the only one I've watched recently was The Last Crusade when we covered it. I guess a couple of years ago.
A while ago.
Yeah. So
I've seen them all out of order except for that Crystal Skull one. Every year or so, you got to watch at least one of them.
Well, my problem with them right now is that they've come out. They've been re-released on the 4K, but they're in a box set with that stupid Crystal Skull movie, and I don't want that movie.
Yeah, so, well, get it now before you have to buy the 5th one too.
Oh no. I'm hoping that they'd come out, because they did that with Star Wars, right? They came out in the box set and then eventually they came out individually. Like, you could just buy Empire Strikes Back, right? You don't have to buy the whole 3 movies. So
I guess, but are you even going to buy a Star Wars Blu-ray?
No. I'm just saying as an example. So I think that will happen with Raiders of the Lost, or the Indiana Jones trilogy.
I'm sure, yes.
My number 10 is Catch Me If You Can, which I think is probably Spielberg's last great film. My number 9 was the Columbo episode, the pilot episode, Murder by the Book. You should watch it, by the way. Don't dismiss it just because it's a TV movie.
Oh, no. I have much respect for Columbo.
I'm talking to the people out there who are listening. Number 8 was Last Crusade. Number 7 was A Color Purple. Number 6, Schindler's List. Mm-hmm. Number 5, The Sugarland Express, which if you're into 70s movies, you definitely got to give that a shot. Number 4, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 3, Saving Private Ryan. And number 2 is Jaws. And my number 1 is the Dennis Weaver special Duel. Did you process all that?
I'm just trying to think of what you left out, and like, there's no surprises there.
Maybe Sarah's list. We'll shed some light on what I left out. Okay. Sarah's number 11 is Catch Me If You Can. Her number 10 is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh.
She's not a big Indiana Jones fan.
All right, I get you. I mean, it's only the greatest adventure movie of all time. But...
I mean, I thought it was a little low, but to be fair, I don't think I made her watch it. So I think if she rewatched it, she might revisit her list, but I don't know. Number 9, Color Purple. Mm-hmm. 8, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which was not on my list. Not on my list.
She heard you. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, how's it going? Better put that up there for people to see. Hi. Oh, and Temple of Doom did make quite a few lists. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Look, it's a good movie. Just the other 10 were better. That's all.
No, it's you prefer the other 10.
Sure. However, sure.
That's the wording.
I mean, look, Temple of Doom would be up much higher if it wasn't for Kate Capshaw. She was terrible in it. Empire. She's
not terrible. She did what she was asked to do.
What she was asked to do was terrible. There's execution too. Execution too. Sarah never watched the Indiana Jones films until she was an adult. Mm-hmm. Probably because of me. I probably made her watch it, but that was like back in the VHS days. We need to revisit the series. Let's see. Empire of the Sun was number 7. Bridge of Spies was number 6. E.T.
Oh, right.
Not on my list.
You made that. I never really cared for E.T. either.
No.
I should watch it again. I haven't watched it since I was a kid, but I never got into it.
Well, I watched it again, and I never was big on it when I was a kid. Watching it as an adult, I can appreciate some of it a little more, but I still don't think it is a very good movie. There are parts of it, like there's a part where E.T. gets sick and he just becomes really gross. And that part, that it goes on way too long. They got to get E.T. back to health like a lot quicker. And I don't know. There's something about that movie. It just, I don't know. Her number 4 was Saving Private Ryan. Number 3 was Schindler's List. And her number 2 and number 1 are exact same as mine, Jaws and Duel. We're both big fans of Duel.
Duel's a good movie.
We were the only ones that picked it as our number 1, though. In fact, I think it only made our list and maybe one other. I think one other had Duel on their list, which we rewatched it on just a few days ago. And man, it holds up. Still good times. Tonight, I'm doing it's animation movies on the Brain Train. So I have a list of possibilities here. I'm not that big on animated movies. Every time I try to watch them, I get irritated.
I was going to, well, by animated, that's also computer animated.
Yeah.
As well as hand-drawn.
Some people had trouble differentiating between the two. There was some discussion about just doing old, like classic style animation and 3D. And some people were having trouble. Like, they're like, well, what's 3D and what's 2D? And I'm like, I don't know, you just kind of look at it and figure it out. But some people, so they just kind of went with all animation, all animated movies.
And see, I was going to say that I was pretty sure I knew what your number 1 would be until the CG element came in. So now I'm not quite so sure.
Well, what would my number 1 be?
You want me to just say it out loud?
Yeah, because I'm not sure about my list here. So go ahead. Tell me what
I assumed it would be another film I just rewatched, The Iron Giant.
It is on my list. Absolutely.
I know it's on your list, and I know some of those Pixar movies are going to be on your list.
Yeah.
Up in particular.
Yes.
Beyond that, I don't know. I'd have to look down and see a whole long list of animated movies. Is there anything Disney on your list?
Well, if you count Pixar as Disney,
I don't. I know they acquired them, but I'm talking about like, you know, Disney. Let's start singing songs every 5 minutes.
No.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. There were a lot of like smaller, like Don Bluth films and other, you know, non-Disney animated films around like in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, you had I didn't know Don Bluth did the Rescuers. He was pretty much in the 70s. He was pretty much the go-to guy at Disney Animation. He did all those Disney films, like the Robin Hood.
Yeah, there are a lot of you see his animation style.
Yeah. Well, Sarah said it right away, like because we just watched The Rescuers a couple of months ago, and last night we watched The Secret of Nim, or the night before, which was a Don Bluth film, and she's like, "Is this the same guy who did The Rescuers?" And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, the style looks similar, so I looked it up, and of course, yeah, it was the same guy. But I did, yeah. We watched The Secret of Nim. I don't know if that would make my list. And then last night we watched that horse movie, Spirit, the stallion of something.
I think I remember hearing of it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But Bryan Adams does the soundtrack for it, and he sings all these. Like, this is my problem with a lot of musicals: is a lot of what they're singing about is very, like, it's too on the nose. You know, like if they're sitting there, like the character sitting there is like, "Here's my Captain America. I haven't pulled the tags off yet. He still has one on his bum. This is my Captain America." Like that's the whole thing, right?
That was beautiful.
Yeah, and so it's Bryan Adams singing, like he's got this rock voice on, and the spirit, you know, he's trapped in a stable and he wants out, and man, if it weren't for those stupid songs, it'd be so much better.
Duke is here.
Oh, hey.
Been a long time since Duke's joined us live. Probably because there's no game to beat right now. No score to beat.
He's
no
not
bandy to bash.
He's not busy blistering up his thumbs.
I'm getting close to your score, Duke. I'm still playing Tetris.
Let me tell you, Dean says he still thinks Jurassic Park 1 needs to be on the list. Look,
you're not going to convince Kevin.
No. And Sarah doesn't like it either, so we're... But anyways, you go check out that LeBrain Train episode, and Jurassic Park was kind of going back and forth, man.
It's a very popular movie amongst people.
Oh, yeah. I guffawed throughout the whole film. I didn't guffaw. There's no guffawing. Well, maybe a little bit of guffawing. I still liked it. I liked the spirit. I just didn't just Brian Adams every time you come on.
Oh, maybe you'll put Titan AE on your list. We did that one. You could talk about the Creed soundtrack.
No.
Oh gosh, what's another animated movie?
Okay, I'll just name some movies. I'm not going to say these are on my list.
Oh, does this include? Well, I guess it doesn't. It's different. No claymation.
Claymation apparently is okay.
That's fair. Ooh, all right. That opens up other possibilities.
Now, here's the problem, though. Like with a lot of animated movies, I'd have to rewatch them. Like it's been so long since I've seen them, and I can hardly remember. Like I remember watching Wallace and Gromit like 20 years ago and liking it, but I haven't seen it since, and I wouldn't know where the heck to put it.
Would those short films qualify?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because there's something to be said for brevity.
Absolutely.
Looney Tunes, that's an animated short film. I'd put a Bugs Bunny cartoon at the top of my list.
Look, if we're gonna count those, forget. I'm throwing out this list because those trump everything, man. The old classic Bugs Bunny cartoon. I still remember my dad crying the day that 5 o'clock on Global every weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, they would run Bugs Bunny cartoons. And the day that he went and he didn't watch any TV, like he was not big on TV at all. But at 5 o'clock, we would put on the Bugs Bunny cartoons on the weekends. And the day we turned it on, it was The Simpsons instead of Bugs Bunny. I've never seen him so upset at the TV before. Like, what? What is this? I don't program the station. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. Okay, these are just possibilities to make my list. So, Up, of course, Inside Out, Iron Giant, Monsters Inc., The Little Prince, which is a great little Canadian film that didn't get much. It came out a few years ago. I did a review on it on my blog, buriedonmars.com. Go check that out. Zootopia. I did like Zootopia.
I haven't seen that.
Onward, which was the latest, like a Pixar movie that came out sometime last year, which was really good. Then I was thinking about Nymph, The Secret of Nymph and Spirit, because we had it in our collection, but I watched them both. I don't think they're going to make my list. Wall-E, I like that one.
Okay.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
All right. Yes,
if that counts.
Try it.
The Shaun of the Sheep movies, which I think is the same guy that does those Wallace and Gromit
animation.
Yeah. I did like the Lego movie, but it's been a while since I've seen it. Big Hero 6. You ever see that one? I think.
No. What is that?
It's like this big white balloon robot guy that I can't remember.
Oh,
I just remember liking it.
I know what you're talking about. I think it has a different name here, so I don't even know what it's called.
Okay. I was thinking about putting maybe South Park and Beavis and Butthead on there.
Oh, okay.
And do you ever watch the movie The Brave Little Toaster? You ever see that one?
I know of it, but I don't think I've ever seen it. At least not the whole thing.
When I was a kid,
that's one of those. Yeah, that was one of those animated movies that was like trying to battle against Disney back in the day when you could get other studios producing animated films.
Well, when I was a kid and it would come on TV, I would watch it all the time. But I don't really remember.
There are a lot of those that I've never seen a lot of them. An American Tail, I remember being good, but that's one I haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah, we watched that one not too long ago. And the only thing I could remember from it was that one song, "There are no cats in America and the streets are made of cheese."
I don't
Um,
remember that. I
but
just
yeah, we watched
remember
it.
the father mouse going, "Five-o,
Mhm,
five-o."
yeah. I've come to the conclusion that I'm not really that big of a Don Bluth fan. I mean, his animation style is really crazy, and he has some crazy techniques. Like there's like a character will be hopping over the water, and they would put like a mirror underneath the animation, so
Mhm.
like the character's reflection would be in the water, kind of thing. There's a lot of little tricks that
Hmm.
they would do. Like nothing was computer generated. And I think people really get a kick out of those kind of things. But the stories themselves are kind of
Well, that'll lead into one of the things I put on the list is I watched Labyrinth um, the other day with my kids. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and I give it the same review I did as what was that other Henson one?
oh
The other one, Dark Crystal.
yeah, yeah,
Is that it's beautiful to look at. There's just great puppeteering and great the technical aspects of how they had to do all that, the costumes and everything. I do think Dark Crystal was more impressive, but the story is just
yeah.
it's just not
Yeah,
there.
I couldn't finish it. I couldn't. I stopped both of those movies.
Yeah, again, like if you want to just marvel at the puppeteering and all that went into it,
Yeah,
it's brilliant. But
yeah,
at a certain point, you need the story to catch up.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, story's the whole thing, man. For me, story or characters. You know,
Yeah.
give me something. You know,
The have you should rewatch that Great Mouse Detective. That's a
I
pretty fun
loved
one.
that one as a kid. Is that
Yeah.
holds up?
I haven't seen it in a long time, but that was one of my tops when I was a kid. That one I thought was so much fun. Only one song, and it's by Vincent Price. So
Oh wow. I mean, I that was my parents did not take me to very many films as a kid, and I think that might be the only animated film I actually saw in the theater as a kid. I remember loving it, but I
yeah.
only saw it that one time in the theater. We never got it on tape or anything like that. So I watched it once 30, I guess going on 40 years ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
I saw it on. I think my cousin had it on VHS. We watched it a few times there. But I always like that one. I like the animation style. You know, there's a certain look of the Disney animation that changed over time. I think once they got into the '90s, it became that like softer, smoother.
yeah.
This one it had a little roughness to it, and a lot of the characters. There's a lot of like seedy pubs and people smoke cigarettes and drink beer and stuff in it.
Well, they were still doing it all hand drawn. The
Yeah,
computers
yeah, yeah.
didn't take over until the
Right,
90s, right?
right, right. And the father mouse, Faversham, Mr. Faversham, is voiced by the guy who did Scrooge McDuck. So it sounds like Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, cool. Well, those like really animated movies in the 80s were far and few between. The Don Bluth was actually, outdoing Disney at the time. It really was that Little Mermaid that gave them the kick in the pants to. I
Yeah,
remember that
that.
coming out, and then they started like, no, we're going to start doing this every year, kind of thing. And then they started coming out with all those movies every year.
Well, they had hit after hit for a few years. It was like they were just knocking them out, making tons of money.
Beauty and the
And
Beast and
Lion King,
Lion King was
Aladdin, all that
huge,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Pixar came around, and everything went to 3D. I don't even think they do 2D animated films anymore.
You know what? There is a movie my kids were watching on Netflix called Klaus. It's like a story of Santa Claus. And I was watching it when they had it on, and the style is really interesting. I couldn't tell if it was hand drawn animation or if it was hand drawn and then turned to computer or if it was completely computer, but it had an interesting look to it. I couldn't tell you how good the film is, but it looked interesting.
Well, that Spirit movie did a really interesting thing, and I'm sure it was a cost thing more than anything, but most of the movie was 2D, hand drawn. But they had like one really complicated scene where this train busts through a tunnel, and they did all that in 3D animation, like the train itself and it coming through the tunnel and all that. But all the characters were all still in 2D. So it was kind of like a mixture of both. And it used the strengths of both animation, mixed it really well. And kind of like to see more of that. But I think 2D animation is just so expensive now.
Well, that was like the Iron Giant, right? You said the giant was all CG.
Right, yeah. But I think that style's gone in the way of the dodo. Because everything's just done by with computers now because it's so much cheaper.
Well, yeah, if CG counts for your animated films, that's just about every movie that's been made in the past 5 to 10 years. There's so much any of these CG character movies.
Dean has a question. Has anybody heard of Wizards 1977 from Ralph Bakshi? Bakesheet?
Nope.
Baking Sheet?
Balky.
Somehow. Remember watching it a bunch as a kid, but rewatching it recently is definitely not a kid's animation. No, I don't know that one. Don't know that one. There's also that heavy metal movie that I'm sure is going to make a few lists tonight because those guys are all the music and that. But
Canadian production.
Yeah, I don't know. I was never that much of a fan of that one.
No,
even though it's one of those
odd.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's. Look, those guys were big into the pot, okay? And it's definitely, like, you could tell a lot of that came out of some pot things. It's one of those movies, though, that has everything. It's got, like, Harold Ramis in it and John Candy and heavy metal music. Everything should be, like, right there for me. But it just, I don't know, something's off with that movie.
It's a strange series of anthology stories.
Yeah.
Some kind of, like, orb thing, like a 2001 obelisk that's...
Yeah, well, it's based on a comic book series, which I believe kind of does the same.
Well, Heavy
thing.
Metal was its own production. Like you bought Heavy Metal magazine,
right? Yeah,
had like all these little stories.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. That's the
you
animation
should put together a top 11 Bill Murray movie. I'm sure you can do that.
Okay, Ghostbusters. It's number one. What About Bob? It's probably number 2.
Scrooged. Throw in there,
Scrooge would be on the list. I don't know if it'd be number 3.
Oh, I don't know what your order is. I'm just throwing things out there. Groundhog Day for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would Ghostbusters 2 make the list?
Probably. The first hour would make the list. Right up until the Statue of Liberty starts walking. And then that's
pretty deep.
Yeah. I think that movie is...
But you get that far along, you got to finish it off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think just really that whole Statue of Liberty and that ending just kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths. And plus, at the time, people just would not stand for the second movie just being a rehash of the first movie. That movie...
That's the biggest weakness of it.
Yeah, like it's absolutely just like, they don't really tell the same jokes again. They just kind of, even though the Statue of Liberty walking is kind of like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but I guess it is. I guess it is kind of the same jokes again.
It fell into the same formula.
Yeah.
All right, let's just do this.
Whereas now people are kind of seem to be. They just want that. They just want that first thing again.
Well, it's been just long enough. Yeah.
Just give me that first thing again. I don't want anything else. Just give me that. But that's my give me something new. I'm all about the new.
What else we got here?
Oh, we got lots of things.
Oh, you were playing video games.
I did play some video games. I did. Did you play The Wolf Among Us? Did you give that a shot?
No, I forgot all about it.
That's all right. I played through it, and I still think you'd really like it. Out of all those Telltale games, I think that's one that will tickle your fancy. I thought it was about... I knew that the main character was Wolfman, and I thought it was about those old Universal movies for some reason, but it's really about fables, like fable stories. And
like Aesop's fables, things like that.
Sort of more like Three Little Pigs and Little Red Riding
fairy
Hood.
Tales.
Fairy tale. That's the word I'm looking for. So those so the characters in those stories exist in this universe, and they're often this sort of comic book world. There you go. It's got a Dean seal of approval. So there you go. So they live in this world, but they don't really explain it. I don't know, but they're trying to exist for some reason in our world, right? And in order to exist in our world, they need to take this spell to appear human, right? Because they don't want to frighten anyone in our world. I don't know why they need to exist in our world. They didn't really explain it or anything like that. But you play the main character is the big bad wolf. He's the wolf among us, and he's the same wolf from Little Red Riding Hood. He's the same wolf from the Three Little Pigs.
There were a lot of wolves, yeah.
And he's the sheriff of all these people. Meaning, like, if they get out of line or something like that, he's got to make sure that they're all taking their magic potion. And if there's a problem or whatever, he solves it before it gets over to the human authorities, right? Because they don't want it's all a secret society kind of thing. So a character shows up dead, and you have to solve why. You have to solve the murder, and of course, as you peel it, go in deeper in that, it's got a film noir kind of story where it's bigger than just this one person getting murdered. There's the guy that's running, basically selling. It's like there's like a bit of morale. Like, you got to think about your morals and stuff too. Like, so in order to get this magic spell, it's expensive, right? And not every one of these fable characters can afford the spell, right? Like, there's one guy that's just he's just an average Joe, and he's like, I got myself, I got my wife, I got my 2 kids. How can I afford this spell for everyone? So there's this character called the Crooked Man who's selling the spell in the black market for cheaper, right? But it's not like a perfect spell. There's problems with it and stuff like that. So it kind of has like the drug kind of thing, and like, what would you do? Like, so it's good. It's good. Like, that everything is black and white, right? You got to think about all the terms, everything that's in the gray and areas and stuff. So it's really well done. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to make another one because Telltale kind of took a nosedive or something. For some reason, they couldn't make their money off these games. So it kind of ends a little bit on a cliffhanger, even though the main story kind of finishes. There's a little more was designed, I think, for the next game. But I really enjoyed it. I think out of all those games, I think you would like it.
I will check it out. How long is the playthrough? Was it taking? So
there's 5 episodes, and each episode takes you about an hour and a half to finish.
Okay. So
it's not, not crazy.
It'll take me about a week and a half to play through.
Probably. Like, I mean, that's basically what I did. Was every night I played an episode, and so it took me 5 days to get through it. Yeah, and it's based on a graphic novel called Fables. Right, as Dean says. And of course, I couldn't call the game Fables because there's that video game series called Fable. They didn't want to confuse it, so they called it The Wolf Among Us, which I think is a better title anyways, personally.
I will try to remember to check it out.
Well, I think you got it somewhere, right? You already have it.
I do have it. Oh, it's just that clicking that install button.
No rush, man. Whenever you get to it, whatever. Whatever.
We'll try. It's a good time now, actually, because we've been getting pounded by rain here. It's like, seriously, it's supposed to be the middle of the summer when it's all hot and humid and disgusting.
Yeah.
But it's just been raining every day, and it's going on. It's like the next week, it's all just supposed to be cloudy and rain.
Well, hot and humid is what it's been here. It's been ridiculous, and it ruined the paint job I did on Sarah's car.
Oh, yeah. You're going to talk about that?
Sure, a little bit. Yeah. So Sarah's probably going to be going back to work like instead of working from home, she's probably going to be going back to campus. So it's kind of like the water's touching my ass a little bit to, fix up her car, because she has this rust all on her hood of her car, which I think, or on the roof of her car, which I think is from, she parked it, like there was a pine tree that was beside our house. It's been cut down a couple of years ago, but I think the sap from the tree kind of ruined the roof of the car. Anyways, I've been meaning to fix it for a while. And, when the pandemic happened, I had all the opportunity to do it, but I couldn't really go to Canadian Tire to pick up the stuff for it. So now we're like in this period where I can go to Canadian Tire to grab the stuff I need to fix it. But she might be going back to work. So, anyways, so I started working on it. I fixed up all the rust, and, basically it's just like doing a model kit, really. You got to sand down like all the rust, get all the rust out of there. And then you fill in, the parts that are missing with Bondo, which is pretty much like, your fill-in putty on doing a model kit. Then sand all that down. You got to do it like several times, and then you put on your primer, and you put on your paint, and then you put on your clear coat. And I put on the primer, that went fine. And then I put on the paint, and that seemed to be going okay. And then I just started doing the clear coat. But then when it dried, it had like this really rough texture to it. Like you'd put your hand over it and you couldn't even move it.
Okay.
It's really rough. So apparently what happened, because we're going through a heat wave right now, and I'm used to doing small model kits. And when you paint a small model kit, you go like really fast, like, like that, and then flip it over. Well, apparently that's the wrong technique for doing a large section of a car roof, a real car roof. You need to go a lot slower, because what happens is when you go fast, you get a lot of overspray. And so that overspray goes into the air, and because it was so hot and humid, the paint dried while the overspray was in the air, and then it fell back onto the paint job. So all that rough texture was just paint particles and clear coat falling back onto the paint job, and it just ruined the paint job. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to fix this? And people were like, oh, don't worry about it. You can just buff it out and it'll be fine. I'm like, okay. So I took a photo of it, said, all I got to do is buff this out and it'll be fine. So I start trying to buff it out, and I can't even like move like anything. Like it's just so rough. So I go back on YouTube and like, what's going on? They're like, no. That's if you got like a little bit on the clear coat, you can probably buff it out or sand it out just nicely, just gently. And what you have to do is start back from scratch, because you screwed it up so bad. And you got to take it all the way back down to the original paint job, and or down to your first layer of paint job, and redo it. So that's what I'm doing. But it's so warm right now that I'm kind of leery about, doing it again and screwing it up again, because let me tell you, paint and clear coat is not cheap. You can't just keep like, wow,
right.
It's kind of pricey stuff. So I'm trying to wait. I'm waiting for it to get cool again so I can, do it again. But man, this heat wave just does not want to seem to end. But thankfully, I think I got like another 2 more weeks before Sarah goes back to work. So that's what I'm doing.
Worst case, it still looks better than it did.
Absolutely. That's what Sarah keeps telling me. She's like, look, it's protected and it doesn't look too bad and all that. But, you want it to. I don't know. You want it to look. Well, sure. Yeah. So. But I've been watching a lot of car repair videos and stuff like that on YouTube. YouTube is like, it makes you feel like as if you could do anything, and until you start trying to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like I've been watching this
editing.
I've been watching this guy called Chris Fixes, which he'll like get like an old clunker or whatever, like for $500, and he'll fix it up and then sell it for a few $1,000s, right? And he'll like, I just got the parts, for things. So he fixes up this car for like $1,500. I'm thinking that's great, but meanwhile, he has all the tools, right? To do this thing. Like, oh, you got to fix the brakes. So you just take your, your brake pin remover and you just put it in there and take it out. I'm like, well, I don't have one of those. How much is one of those? Oh yeah, it's like $25. You got to add that. Oh, just take your breaker bar and, just throw it on there and you'll be able to start. Well, I don't have one of those. How much is one of those? Oh, $250 for one of those. Like you got to figure that stuff into your price a little bit. Like to be fair, he will do some videos where he'll show you like just how to do it with common tools and stuff like that. But anything that's like a huge job or whatever, it's you're going to be spending money on tools. He'll tell you too that you can go and rent the stuff for free. I don't know where he's renting this stuff for free. Like in America, you got AutoZone, which like if you buy like ball bearings, if you buy bearings for your car, they'll rent you they'll let you use the equipment for free so you can change it yourself. But I don't think we have anything like that here in Canada. I'm not sure if we do anyways.
Any of those DIY channels, you get all hooked into it, watching somebody do it. Looks so great, looks so easy, looks so much fun.
Yeah.
You got to get all that stuff.
Exactly.
Like when I watch all the woodworking stuff, I purposely choose the channels that do things simply with basic tools.
Yeah. Yeah. And it looks fun. It looks great and everything, but you gotta have the space. You gotta have, the garage. Like he's got this one thing where he puts he's got a lift for his car. You just drive it over and it's like a hydraulic thing that just lifts up the car. So all four wheels are up off the ground. And I'm like, I don't have one of those. Anyways.
I had one non-rainy day it's probably like a week ago now. And I made a crosscut sled for my table saw. And I totally forgot about it until now because I just haven't had a chance to go use it. Keeps raining.
I just used mine sometime last month to build some shelves for Sarah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at Dean doing everything.
Dean doesn't have a vehicle. Come on, Dean. Jeez.
Spends all his money on those toys.
Oh my goodness.
How do you get all your stuff home?
He ships it, I guess.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I don't know how. Like I remember when I was 16, I needed a car. I needed to get out of the house. I needed my license, everything, and it never made any sense to me. People that just would not had no interest in getting their license. I'll get it later. I'll just bum rides or whatever. Not me, man. Not me. I need that freedoms. I need my freedoms.
That's what you get for watching all those Smokey and the Bandit movies.
Uber. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
The garage is too full of toys to fit a vehicle. Yes, isn't that your base of operations for your collection now?
Yeah, I knew another guy that did that when he got his house and when they were building it, he actually got them to build a family room inside of his garage when they were building his house. It's pretty cool. Yes, you need a license living in Sudbury, Ontario, because the transit system is not great.
That's what I was told when I moved to where I am now, and I didn't believe everybody. I was like, I can get by with the trains. Didn't take long.
What car do you have?
It's called a Honda Life. It's not a very impressive looking car.
Is that a Fit?
I have no idea.
Honda Life.
Yeah.
That's what
it was a cheap car. No, it's definitely not what you have. I think it's something that only exists here.
Well, a lot of times they just change the name. Oh yeah,
it's a weird looking car.
You got a dorky looking car.
Yeah, it's not. It works hard, boy. But we're actually at the point where we're probably going to have to swap it out because it's just it's a grandpa car.
How do I do this again? Here we go. There we go. There's Richard's car.
That's a simple looking car.
Look, I could see you sitting in there. I thought my car was dorky.
It gets me where I need to go.
Oh, Burt Reynolds is rolling in his grave right now.
Toys. I can bring all my toys home.
That's fine. So, hey, look, whatever you need. Right? It looks like it's got a lot of space in the back. It's a hatchback.
Oh, no. Nope. It's got a hatchback, but there's not a lot of space.
Can you put the seats down?
You can. I do when I have to buy lumber and stuff.
What kind of size motor you got in that?
Small. It's not so powerful. You got to turn off the air conditioning when you go uphill.
That's something else. Look at looks like a Kia Soul. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it might be. Because they They just changed the names. They all like work with each other and just change the names around.
They might. I don't know. The big thing about it is compact, and that's kind of a requirement because the roads are so narrow here. And they go around like all twisty turns.
Yeah.
Occasionally, you see somebody riding around in one of those big SUV things, and I'm like, how in the world do you get through these streets in that car? Because it's not uncommon for people to have to like stop and like pull off to the side of the road, let the other car go, and then go down. It's like that's just requirement.
Yeah.
Through these streets.
Well, they keep trying to push small cars here, but North Americans just don't buy them.
No, you got to drive your house around.
I think everyone has space anxiety when it comes to a car. It's like everyone drives an SUV. They all got big SUVs. They're all worried about space. You know, and I get it. You got a family, you know, you got to fit stuff in it. But I think people just bring too much stuff with them when they're going places.
You don't need, I mean, look at a car now. It's in an entertainment center. How many multiple screens do they have? You got to have pull-out trays for all your video games and all this stuff in there. Just sit in the car. Be quiet. We're going to get there.
Sarah's asking you if you can fit your whole family in that car.
Yes, but not much more. And the kids keep growing, so it's another reason we probably got to upgrade very soon.
You should give them coffee. It'll stunt their growth. Coffee and cigarettes.
A lot of kids do drink coffee in Japan. They just, I don't get it. They're okay with kids drinking coffee.
Yes, my mom has a big Honda Odyssey for just herself. Well, it was for herself and my dad, and yeah, she would bring so much stuff.
My mom did the same thing when we were kids. She had a station wagon because 3 kids and just throw a bunch of stuff in there. And then as we got older, she moved to she got like a little red Saturn. Mm-hmm. It was like just for her, just to commute. And then now, kids are out of the picture. So one of her hobbies is to go scuba diving. So she got a really big car just to fit all of her scuba gear. But for the most part, she's just driving this giant car around just for her. Well,
Mom keeps saying like, oh, I should sell it and get something smaller or whatever, but it's paid for, So I'm like, just, the money you're going to spend on a smaller car is just, this for the money you spend on gas for that big boat of a van, just drive it around. Who cares? And then for other games, I've been getting back into Forza 7 because the new Forza's coming out. So I kind of want to get my 7 done. And then
that's why you can't let go of the roof of that car, because you're looking at all these fancy sports cars in your games. You're like, nope. We gotta compete.
Yeah, no, maybe. Who knows? And then I've been playing Car Mechanic Simulator on the PC. Because why not? Getting into all the cars. Why not? I'll show you my pickup too for fixing cars. All right, here's my pickup. Look at this, an adult pickup. Ooh. Yeah,
look at that.
It was a full-on ratchet set that was on sale at Canadian Tire.
Ooh.
This thing snaps open. It's like a drawer. It's like a portable drawer thing. And all your stuff.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice.
So there you go. And you got
I do get excited about tool pickups.
And all your ratchets.
I bought a square the other day.
So I bought all that, but I still had to buy a separate. What's this called? What are these called?
It's a thingy. It's a ratchet head.
Ratchet
piece.
Head
I don't know what you call
them. I'm blanking. I don't know why. Anyways, I had to buy it because I'm changing the spark plugs on Sarah's car, and this is specially designed to remove.
I was gonna say you bought that whole big kit, but you still had to buy the one thing that you needed.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid, but I still need those because it has a 10 millimeter and stuff like for doing other things. But anyways, like this is especially designed just for spark plugs because it's got the signs and then it's magnetic in there, so it holds the spark plug in. So we put the spark plug down in there.
If that's magnetic, maybe you don't want to hold it too close to your computer.
It's not that big of a magnet. I think it'll be fine. Anyways, yeah. So those have been the stuff that's been coming in the mail instead of movies and video games and that. Becoming an old man and getting those kind of things.
Yeah, I bought tools recently. I did get I pick up two. Look at this. I found a copy of Overlord.
Oh, nice.
The zombie Nazi movie we watched.
That was on Netflix, right?
Was it?
Yeah. It was
on maybe one of those for streaming. You.
Yeah, right.
Not for me. So I saw that. I was happy to pick it up.
Didn't even know that got a Blu-ray release. Nice.
I've been looking at my movie, my wall of movies, and noticing there's a few holes. There are a lot of movies that I'm surprised I don't own yet. Ghostbusters 2, for example. I've still never picked up a copy of that. And
I have several copies of that.
Yeah, I feel like I really need to start filling in these holes of all the movies I say I enjoy and I like watching. And they're not.
Is that why you were asking about RoboCop?
It was because I was looking at the selection available to me here. This all started because of V. I was talking about V, that series, the miniseries.
Yeah.
And
by the way, I went to look up for the DVDs for that on Amazon, and because they're out of print. So the people that have them up there are asking like big money for them.
Really?
Yeah. So I think I'm just going to try to download them. Why not?
Yeah, it's worth it. It's a fun series. But when I was looking at it, I had seen it in the store, and it's just my go-to. When I think of buying a movie, I just go to the store and look around, because everything I buy is usually older and something that was released already. So if I'm looking thrift, I think I go to the store. And when I couldn't find it, my wife said, well, "Why don't you just check Amazon?" I'm like, "What do you mean Amazon? This is an old DVD. I'm not gonna buy. They're not gonna have that new." It's like, no, they got a used section. No, they don't. Like, what? They sell used stuff on Amazon? Get out of here. And so I started looking, and I found the V. I was like, oh, this is great. I didn't know you could buy it. It's kind of like eBay, except there's no bidding. You just buy it. So I started looking at that, and I was like, this is amazing. And I started looking through it and just flipping through it. And one of the first things that came up, I don't know why, maybe because I was typing in English looking for V, but a copy of House Party came up. And I was like, House Party? And it said Region 1. And it only cost 1 yen, like 1 penny. All you got to do is pay shipping. Like, oh, okay, it makes sense. Nobody wants it because it's Region 1. I like House Party. Sure, why not? And I bought a copy of House Party, and I watched it. And actually, I was nervous when it came, because it came like this. This is what I ordered, what I saw. It says House Party. And I opened it up, and I saw this. I saw House Party 2.
What?
And I flipped it over. There's House Party 3. And then I moved this insert, and I saw, there's House Party 1. It's got all 3 in there. But it's got these weird inserts that I didn't like. What are these? And then it hit me. These are the cardboard, those cardboard cases?
Yep.
DVDs used to come in. Somebody had all 3 of them and then mutilated it and chopped it up and turned it into this. And somehow, and when I bought this off Amazon, I'm like, is this real? Like, is this some kind of bootleg? What happened? How did I get this? I don't know. But it was just, it shocked me that it'd be all chopped up.
I think Sarah loves that movie.
The original House Party is a very fun movie.
Kid and Play.
Kid and Play, absolutely.
Yeah.
The first House Party is right up there with movies like Revenge of the Nerds and Police Academy. It's a fun, silly, goofy, good time movie. Part 2 is a subpar sequel. Part 3 was terrible. But I do like the original quite a bit. And then I started researching. I was like, if I could find this, maybe I could find other movies I've been looking for. And that's when I ordered the other one I just posted, that Hanging with the Homeboys. Yes. Another movie I really like from when I was a kid. I will not oversell it. It's not a perfect movie, but it is a hidden gem. I think that's the appropriate use of that. And it's also a movie that's on its road to being forgotten because like House Party, Hanging with the Homeboys, they did not get Blu-ray releases, and I think it's just kind of like Although House Party, I did read up on it after watching it, and like they're making another one. They've made like 5 of them, and like they just keep putting new people in them, and now like they're rebooting it again.
Is Kid and Play in every single one of them, or?
As far as I remember, they did 2. But apparently they are in the 3rd one, which is awful. But Bernie Mac is in the 3rd one, and he gets 2 thumbs up because he tried really hard to improve every scene he was in. The movie is a total mess, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's Class Act. That's
I remember that being good, too.
That's another
like
Kid
the early Kid and Play movies. They had like 3 years in a row. I was like,
oh my goodness.
Fun movies.
Are we going to have to revive Fandango just to get some? We'll do a Kid and Play episode.
I haven't seen Class Act in a while, but the first House Party holds up. It's a fun movie. So I've been looking online just to see like all these other movies that I've been having a hard time finding. And one that I'm gonna order like right after this, I saw that Dread is actually available. Like there's a U.S. import copy of Dread available on Amazon Japan, and I've been looking for that movie all over the place. They got such a limited release here
on Blu-ray. But okay, so are you Region 1 in Japan, or do you have just a Region 1 player?
DVD.
Right. Okay.
Japan is Region 2 NTSC, so I have to use a Region 2 player, but I play most of my stuff. Like this Hanging with the Homeboys is actually a PAL release.
Oh.
It's a Region 2 PAL, but VLC conquers everything. It plays whatever.
You're playing it on the computer.
Yes. If I play it on the computer, no problem. I have a Region 1 player that I brought with me years ago that still works fine. Of course, we have a Region 2. Well, we've got a Blu-ray player that plays DVDs. So anything I buy in Japan works on that. And then US and Blu-ray is region free. So it doesn't matter.
No, there's 3 regions. There's A, B, and C.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm not sure where Japan falls under.
I know that I have a US Blu-ray of A Christmas Story, and that works in my Japanese Blu-ray player.
Some Blu-rays are region free. Mm-hmm. Some, like, they just don't care. Others, they have them locked.
Really?
So, yeah. 4K is the same way. 4K, when it first came out, they were like, it's all going to be region free, all thing. And then some distributors like, oh no, we're actually going to put some region locking on some of these 4K discs. So, but for Blu-ray, like regular Blu-ray, there's A, B, and C. I think C is Australia. B is like Russia, Europe, like that area, Asia. And then A is North America, South America, and it might be Japan because that's all NTSC, right?
Right. I don't know.
I mean, I got the internet here. We can look it up.
You got the internet?
I mean, yeah. Like, really?
Look at boobs?
I've never tried. Never even thought of doing that. Region A is North America, South America, U.S. territories, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and other South Asia countries. Region B is Europe, Africa, Middle East, Australia, and New Zealand. Oh, okay. Region C is Asia, except for Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and other Southeast Asia.
All right, I'm going to consider myself safe.
Okay. Because I have... so you're looking for RoboCop. I have, like, my regular RoboCop.
I was looking... The difficult part in that... Some movie... Like, another part of this is that Blu-rays or just media in general is expensive here. Like, I think I've complained about this before, but you go to a thrift shop and buy a used Blu-ray or something, it's still likely to be sometimes $20 to $30, depending on what it is. Those Marvel movies, forget it. Every time I pick up one of those, it's like, what am I buying a brand new disc here? And then I'm looking online, I see things for sale in the US, like the RoboCop one. I'm looking at them, and they're all like that Arrow one is like
Yeah.
$50. Some of the other Blu-ray releases like $20, something like that. And then I was looking, I couldn't tell which one a certain one was, so I looked up a review, and I see people on YouTube like, "Oh, I got this in a bin for $3." Yeah, RoboCop Blu-ray, whatever. It's like,
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you can get Blu-rays dirt cheap here because they don't like people are just we stream
People
movies
don't.
now.
Yeah, I know it's a little slower here. People still like to buy things, I guess, even though the streaming services are advertised constantly. But now, like in general, it seems like Blu-ray, the aftermarket, and just regular prices have come down to a reasonable amount. Like a lot of the stuff I'm interested, I look on Amazon, it's like $10 new. It's like it'd be nice for a little cheaper, but that's fine if it's
Yeah.
something I'm really looking for. But then some of them, like RoboCop, it seems a little hard to get. And then even then, I have to try to figure out, is this actually the director's cut? Because some of them, it'll be like RoboCop Blu-ray import and tell me nothing else. And it doesn't say on the cover if it's the director's cut, and it doesn't show the back. So it's like, it's a gamble. You know, am I going to try to order that, or am I going to do this? Because I did have a RoboCop Blu-ray in the past. I bought one here, and when I put it in, I could not believe it. It offered only the Japanese voice track.
Oh.
There was no option to select the original track. I thought that disappeared once DVDs came out. It's like you always have the option of selecting the original voice track.
Right.
And then, you know, give you whatever voice of whatever region you're in, but you always have the option of selecting the original voice track. And I couldn't believe it. I was so upset. I took that thing out, put it back in the case, snapped it in half, and threw it in the trash. I could not believe it. I was so upset.
That's pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have RoboCop. I could send it to you.
You're not gonna send me RoboCop.
I do, because I got the Arrow. I got the Arrow release, so I got my original RoboCop. And then
do you remember what the cover looks like?
I think it's just like RoboCop's face.
Because there's a couple different ones that pop up, and I'm trying to figure out like which release it is, and do they still offer the theatrical cut? Because I assume like once the director's
do you want me to go get it?
No, you don't have to go get it. You don't have to
give me a second. I'll go get it. Okay, hold on. Entertain everyone for a few seconds.
Oh my God, this is the most difficult thing you could ask me to do. I don't even know how many people are here anymore. Oh, we don't need to entertain ourselves. I just got a shot at Kevin's legs. Oh, too bad he walked away. I don't really know how many people are in here. So if there's anything specific you want me to talk about, go ahead. I could tell you a little bit more about the movies I've been watching, but I've mostly been rewatching a lot of great stuff. Temple of Doom, Total Recall, The Iron Giant. There was something else, but I can't remember it. And Kevin is back with 2 large tubs. He doesn't have his headphones on. Do you keep your movies in little plastic bins?
So these are this is pretty embarrassing, but these are all like the doubles I had because I've upgraded to like 4K or whatever. So I had a stack here that kind of needed to go into those bins. So I bought Sarah Grease, like a different version of Grease. That came with Grease 2, which is actually the one that she prefers. So we got her old copy of Grease here.
I have never seen Grease 2, but I've heard only terrible things. Sarah, you prefer that one?
Well, it's the one that she watched a lot when she was a kid. But look, we didn't even open this Grease, so I gotta get rid of that. I got 4K Psychos, so I don't need that one. I got 4K Jaws, so I don't need that one.
Wait a minute, okay. These are not the 4Ks,
right? Yeah, that's
you're holding up saying okay.
And then I got the Criterion Collection edition of Moonstruck, so I got that today.
Which one? Do any more of these have price tags on them? That was the most interesting thing, seeing like $6.99.
No, because we actually watched. And then I bought Sarah Aaron Brockovich. Let's see here. Let me try to find it. RoboCop. Then one I'm getting rid of, like Brazil. I didn't like that. So get rid of that. Braveheart. Get rid of that.
Yeah.
I got the Princess Bride here because I got
Princess Bride is a good movie.
Criterion Collection. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Some good stuff in here.
The only Criterion Collection I have is the RoboCop DVD. That was the first RoboCop DVD I bought.
Oh, here's 16 Candles. That was $6.99.
I've never seen that movie.
Maybe RoboCop isn't in here.
RoboCop should not be in a get rid of bin.
RoboCop
should be a
get rid of Looper.
You really changed your mind on that one, huh?
Yeah, it was awful. Here it is.
I thought you liked that originally.
I did, but then I watched. I think I was drunk or something. This is the RoboCop I got.
Yeah. That's the one that
That's
I was
seeing.
Need? But you see, underneath the name, it says like unrated director's cut or something. Does it say that like right under RoboCop?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but it might come with both versions of the movie.
Because that's the image that I see, but it doesn't say unrated director's cut on the one I'm looking at. So I can't be sure. Did they release both versions?
I don't know.
That's why it's kind of a gamble. This is a rare viewing of you without your glasses.
I can't see. Every time, like when I'm at Canadian Tire too, and like everything's small print, right? Like, what is this Bondo? Is this the right Bondo? So I'm like looking around. Okay, no one's in the aisle. And I do this, and I look at the Bondo, and then as soon as I do that, someone comes around. I don't know how.
So you can see close up without your glasses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it has to be up into my face, right? Like if it's like that's written really big, but if it's right here, like it's low light in here too, right? So my eyes are terrible.
I can't see up close. Like all of this is a blur.
That's how it used to be.
As soon as I go right around here,
yeah,
I'm good.
That's how it used to be for me, and now it's because that's what it is. Your eye, like your lens and your eyeballs are out of alignment, right?
It's. I heard it's like there's some muscle that flexes that as you get older, it's less flexible.
No, mine's not flexing. Where is
your magnifier?
My magnifier is actually out by the car because I needed it to make sure I was doing a good job.
Your magnifier is supposed to be right in your old man's shirt pocket.
Sad. Okay, so you don't want this then?
If you don't mind hanging on to that for me, I would happily swap something for that.
All right.
The only thing is, I still don't know if I can send mail to Canada.
Is there a block on sending?
There was a block. I wasn't able to send anything to the U.S. for the past year. They finally lifted the one on the U.S., but I think the one for Canada still stands. Because I got a package I'm supposed to send Steven. It's just been sitting here. They won't let me mail things.
You didn't like Scarface, right?
I've never seen it. There are actually I was looking around the other day at like all the movies I've got tagged as like I want to watch this. And I was like, there's a lot of movies I've still never seen. It's amazing. Some of these like really big important movies. Like,
yeah. Even with there's just certain movies that just escape you for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay. What
else is on our to-do list?
I think that's it. Sarah wanted me to mention the AC unit because we also fixed that. So while I was working on the car, our air conditioner was running like crazy because of the humid temperatures and that, and it sucks all that moisture out of the air. And we found a big puddle underneath our AC unit it's the furnace, which has an AC unit attached to it. And there's all water underneath it. And normally the water comes down these hoses and goes directly into our floor drain in our basement. So leak somewhere. Don't know what's going on. Looking up online, it says like there's a drain pan. There could be a crack in it, and that's where all the water's coming through and all that. So I actually took panels off, like those metal sheet panels that come down from the ductwork into the furnace. I start pulling that off, and I look at all the drain pan, and it seems to be fine. In that, you're looking up online, it's saying that there's a problem with the hose. It's got to be blockage with the hose. So I'm looking where the water's coming through the hose, and it's all fine. Take it apart, like everything's fine in there. Don't know what's going on. And then like a few times we thought we solved the problem, because like it would dry up and everything would be drying, but then it would, as soon as the AC would start running a lot during the day, as pulling all that moisture out of the air, it would start to leak again. So couldn't figure it out. But there's two hoses that come out of it. There's one on the top where the AC unit, like the part is. So it's like a thing that goes in a triangle and it cools the air and all that. I can't remember what it's called. Something coil or whatever. And the
Tesla
water
coil.
Well, what?
Tesla coil?
No, it wasn't a Tesla coil. That'd be cool if it was. But anyways, the rice is ready. I better speed up the story.
What you eating tonight?
I think just chicken and rice. We're going simple tonight. Although I did make a stir fry the other night with egg noodles. That was quite excellent. Anyways, so the water was coming out out fine from the drain pan and that, and there was some condensation on it, but none of it made any sense. So I was at work the other day. Sarah went in and investigated, and she said, well, maybe it's not the hose where the water's coming out. Maybe it's the other hose where no water's coming out. So she went and looked online. She saw this thing called the P-trap. Like that's normally under your sink, like a P-trap. Well, apparently your AC unit has one as well, because all the condensation that comes off of this coil falls to the bottom, and it's supposed to go through this hose and drain out through this hose. So she, took a little pipe cleaner in there, went and cleaned it out, and there was some bugs or something in there that built a nest. They were all dead and that, but there was just a bunch of gunk in there, and she cleaned it out. We're talking about hose. Oh my God, Steven. Condenser coil, that's what it's called. Anyways, she cleaned it all out, and the water started pouring out. She filled it, like drained it, like put some water with a funnel and put some water down there to clean out the gunk. And she fixed our furnace.
Hey.
So she probably wants me to brag about how she fixed our furnace. But
well, after you screwed up her car, yeah.
Definitely. No, she did a great job. I was very proud of her. And I was like, all day yesterday, she was checking to see if it was still leaking. I'm like, it's not leaking. You fixed it. She's like, I don't believe it. No, you did. You fixed it.
Hey, bravo.
You looked it up online. You figured it out.
Those are the little victories that mean the most to you. Nowadays, like we've got sliding doors in our house, and one of them runs along this track, and it was just squeaking. It was very hard to open. Ripped that thing down, put a little grease on it. It's working fine. Walking around all proud of myself.
Yeah. There you go.
Is that door working for you? Need me to open that?
You feel like you could do anything after those things too.
Oh,
it's like, just look it up online. YouTube's so great too for, helping you out too,
Oh, absolutely. What are you going to do? Read a book?
Nah.
How do I fix this?
That's all you had back in the day, and that was a pain in the ass. Couldn't figure out what the person was saying. Now they just show it to you.
Yeah.
So there you go. She still doesn't believe it. Believe it. You fixed it. It's all good.
Accept your victory.
Yes.
If it ever stops raining, I got to go clean out the gutters because it's kind of like dripping over. Some blockage up there. Yeah,
we did that last year, and it was. Did I tell you there was a piece of corn growing in our gutter?
Piece of corn.
So, like, we go for walks all the time, and I was walking back to our house, and it's on the side of the house that like we don't really see that often. And I'm walking there, I'm like, is that a corn stalk growing out of our gutter right now? And Sarah's like, no. So sure enough, I go up there, and we have a honey locust tree, which has very small leaves, and they just build up in the gutters. Like they're so easy to get trapped in there. And, eventually they just, they decompose and it turns into soil. So I guess a piece of corn from a bird or something got up there, and there was a corn stalk growing up from the gutters, and it was like the roots were like all like along the gutters. Like I pulled it up in big long roots going all the way down there. So I yanked it out and I put it in our garden to see if it would grow anymore, but it didn't. It didn't, unfortunately. But
well, I'd laugh, but the same thing happened to me. I walked by one day, and yeah, like all the stuff that builds up just turns to dirt. And it wasn't as fancy as corn, but there was just some weeds growing out of the gutter. I was like, okay, it's time to clean that out.
Time to do it. Yeah, for sure. I've never seen that before. And Sarah's like, no, it's not corn, but if you smelt it, it smelt like corn. It was definitely a corn stalk. I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, it's cleaning the gutters is a pain in the ass. How do you do it? Do you like how high up?
Messily. It's not that high up because all the houses here are one story. It's nice and easy. Just get up there and wear a big rubber glove, scoop it out, get a trowel, like scrape out whatever dirt is in there.
Yeah.
And then if there's any blockage in the actual like drain pipe going down, maybe bring the hose up and just force it.
Yeah.
Blast
do you
it
do the like do you put the stuff in paper bag or not paper bags or plastic bags, or do you just throw it onto the ground and pick it up later?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah. I don't know which way I like better. Throwing stuff on the ground is really fun.
Yeah.
And you can watch it splatter. But then, you got to go pick it up or rake it up or something. But trying to put it in a bag while you're on top of a ladder is a hassle.
It's not. Yeah. What I've been doing lately is I just put a bucket down at the bottom and I try to get like the worst of it into a bucket, which makes a really big splock sound when it it's a bucket, but a lot of it just misses and gets all over the place. But I don't think there's a good way to do it.
It looks like you threw a dead cat on the ground when there's just a big pile that splatters.
Yeah. I mean, until that tree ups and dies, though, I'm going to be doing that until it goes. But anyways,
you're just going to be Clark Griswold out there messing around.
That's what I think of. I have to clear the eaves troughs. What? Again? No. It's not. Hope you smash that like button. Why not? Where else can you get trough talk? You're not going to get it anywhere. You're certainly not going to get it on STC Pod because those guys are rest in peace.
Oh.
Maybe that should be our next episode. I know I said it last episode, but seriously, next episode we should do a big funeral for STC Pod because I think it's gone.
Has it been 2 months?
I think so. And we should have guests on. Maybe we'll get Bill and Joe on here. We'll interview them. Like, what do you like? Do you miss it, or did you ever come back, kind of thing? Or
you got to get the behind the scenes dirt of all the falling out and the drugs and the women and all the things that happened.
We should have tons of guests on, like just given like their memories of STC Pod and what it was like to listen to the show. How many times they fell asleep while listening to the show, all that stuff. Make it a big super spreader event. Just have everybody on. Anyways,
wonderful.
That's it. Go follow us on Twitter at @retro_Fandango. Don't forget to check out that Discord channel. As you can see, we had tons of fun with it today. There was a whole whopping 3 comments on there for all of August so far, from August 3rd to now. Big 3 comments on there, so why not? Go check that out. Get a boner with Retro Fandango. That's it. We're done.
Hey.
Yeah, that was an episode. Thank you, Sarkasim, Dean, Duke was here for a bit, Rocket Sauce, Mike Dano, Deke was all in the chat. It was a pretty active chat. Oh, and of course, Steven coming in at the end. There you go. Pretty active chat.
He came for the hose.
And stayed for what? Oh, look at that. Deke is still here. My goodness. Sorry. Hopefully we didn't bore you too much. Trough talk.
You know what? This episode was on Friday the 13th, for you at least.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's episode 187. You know what 187 is?
That's a murder code, right? In LA.
Yeah.
It's also a movie with Samuel L. Jackson.
That is what I think of every time I hear it.
Yeah.
I think I might have even seen that movie. I don't remember.
I think I tried to watch it and it didn't. Yeah.
All
There's
I
a lot
remember,
of.
I think that's the movie where he's I don't know if he's a cop or just a grumpy old man or what, but he's trying to prove a point to somebody and they're playing Russian roulette. And
That
then
sounds
he ends
like
up
every Samuel L. Jackson movie.
yeah, and then he ends up shooting himself in the head. Like
Oh.
that's the only thing I remember. Spoiler.
Yeah.
Shark eats him too in a different movie. Spoiler.
Nintendo 64 shark. That was
Yes.
the worst looking shark. Okay,
And
that's it. That's it. Come on.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, we got to get out of here. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye.
Can't hit end broadcast till you say